Hey guys, Ash here with an update on Yooka-Laylee for the Xbox One. So as you've probably heard by now, including from my own review, the Xbox One version, and potentially the PS4 version, but definitely the Xbox One version of Yooka-Laylee suffered from major performance issues while I was reviewing it. Like serious slowdown, stuttering everywhere, and for no discernible reason. So that was one of my main complaints in the review, and since then, Playtonic have actually released a patch for the Xbox One and PS4 versions of the game that's supposed to improve performance across the board and I guess take care of a few bugs and stuff like that. So I've already taken the patch for a spin, and I have good and bad news about it, but I figured I'd show you some footage of the new patch, as you know, show you how the game runs after being patched, and kind of go over some of the good and bad points of it. So first, the bad news, and that's why I've actually started here at this area in Tribal Stack Tropics, which is the first world of the game. Because before the patch, I noted that one of the major problem areas seemed to occur when the screen was filled with like particle effects, like here, like the flamethrowers. If you can tell, yeah. So see, the frame rate definitely does suffer still when those flamethrowers are on screen. We start seeing a lot of stuttering, and if you couldn't notice then, you'll definitely notice here. Let's see here. Yeah, so there we go. Yeah, see, check that out. So whenever yeah, look at that. That's pretty terrible. So whenever there are lots of graphical effects like this on screen, the game's performance really does suffer, and you see, what you're looking at now. The good news, however, is that everything between those problem areas seems to be significantly improved. I mean, significantly. Like, it looks like it's like 80 to 90% better to me. I've been kind of messing around with various areas of the game, and performance is just smoother across the board. Like, I have to say I'm pretty happy with what Playtonic have done here. I just wish they could have gotten this out before, we all reviewed it and noted all these performance problems, because it's better, it's mostly better now. It's not perfect. So I'm just going to kind of roll around and just kind of mess around and see, maybe fight some enemies and see what we got going on here. So you'll notice that the game still does run at 30 frames per second. This isn't a miracle patch. It's not suddenly turning this game into a 60 frames per second game on consoles. You are still going to experience, this is a 30 frames per second on consoles, 60 frames on PC. So, this still isn't the optimal way to play the game, but it is no longer a bad way to play the game. Now, you might have just seen there, that was a random frame drop, and that, you'll still see that. Like, it isn't perfect, like I was saying. But before the patch, you might have seen, 4 or 5 of those by this point. And now, we've only seen 1. So, you are going to see those frame drops happen during normal, regular gameplay, and you're not going to be sure why. Again, that just happened when there is nothing crazy happening on screen, and that's still going to happen. I don't know if that's just an optimization issue. I've heard there are problems getting with compatibility with Unity, which is, I think, what this game is built in. But that's also a conversation that someone who's way more technically knowledgeable should be having. I'm not, I'm not a tech guy, so I'm a bit out of my element there, but the reason I'm going here, actually, this is one of Rextro's games. This is the first Rextro game, and this is not a spoiler. We've shown this before. Playtonic have shown this before, but the reason I'm showing this is because in my review, I'd noted that the Rextro minigames and the minecart sequences were some of the worst in terms of technical performance, and I just wanted to show you that they are better. The minigames still aren't fun. I don't think anything could make these minigames fun. So again, this isn't a miracle. This patch isn't going to suddenly make things that weren't fun before, like this minigame, fun. But at least it's not as hamstrung by technical issues as it used to be, and it was worse before this. So just kind of wanted to give you a sense of how these minigames are performing now. So I'm going to go show you guys one more potential problem area in Tribal Stack Tropics. Unfortunately, there are some more problem areas that existed before the patch that I would like to show you, but unfortunately I can't, because I'm still only allowed to show you the first world and the unexpanded version of the second world. So I'm still pretty, I can't show you any of the problem areas from later worlds and tell you if they're better. Now we're back to an area where I had major issues before. Actually, if you watch my review, you'll note that in this area, the game actually just froze for like a few seconds before it caught back up. Kind of like what happens when you defeat a moblin in Breath of the Wild, where the game seems to stutter for a while. But it was worse here, I think. But it's better. Like, I'm not getting that anymore. Now, you will notice that the camera is still kind of a mess. Like, see, you still get those sudden perspective changes, and, you know, this patch did not necessarily fix the camera problems I had with the game. The camera, in my opinion, is still terrible. In this game, it's one of the holdouts from the N64 era that maybe didn't need to be revisited. It's just not a good camera, as you see, like that. But the performance in this area, which was a problem area before, has been improved. Oh, there's a little clipping there. So see, you know, there is still a little jank. You know, you are going to find jank like this in this game. I want to make it clear this isn't perfect. And I would still say the optimal way to play this game would be on PC, without a doubt. But now, you know, I would feel more comfortable, you know, recommending this on Xbox One as well. I don't think I would warn people away from the Xbox One version now, like I did in my review. So yeah, generally, first world performance improved across the board, except for some specific, or that one specific trouble area. So I'm happy. So I'm gonna leave World 1, and we're gonna check out the hub world a bit. So this is where you start. This is literally the quilt, Yooka-Laylee's quilt, where the game begins. And I'm just kind of showing off the beginning area here. Again, you know, 30 frames per second, but performance is better again. You know, you will see the occasional frame drop, the occasional stuttering, but things are better, for sure. So it looks like things got a little, like a little stuttery there for a second, but very minor. Let's go underwater for a bit. You know, something I forgot to mention in my review that's kind of interesting, because well, in my preview I mentioned that the swimming controls, I could not stand them. And you know what? I actually have gotten used to them. And I mentioned that in my preview as well, but I didn't kind of readdress it. The swimming controls are actually okay. Now that I've gotten used to them, I'm actually fine with that. So if anyone was wondering about that particular point, yeah, I've actually warmed up to the swimming controls, and yeah, I'm okay with them. So that's Shipwreck Creek, but I'm going to make my way toward the second world now, which is Glitter Glaze Glacier. So this is Glitter Glaze Glacier, the second world. And this world was generally, I mean, it had the same performance problems as the others did prior to the patch, and it's just smoother now, just like World 1 was. There is a problem area in this world that is still a problem area after the patch, but it unfortunately is located in the expanded version of the area, or one of the expansions in the area, so I can't show it to you. So you'll just have to take my word on that. But for now, I'm just going to mess around, kind of show off some general gameplay of Glitter Glaze. Ooh, okay, so you see that? So there you go. I don't know what happened there. Don't know why that was such a problem for the game, but that's a perfect example of the kind of stuff you'll still see occasionally. But that is the kind of thing that would happen constantly before the patch, and now it's far rarer. So after that one major hiccup, it seems to be like, yeah, seems like things are generally better off. Nice big, you know, wide open area here. Seems to be okay. You know, and that's something I want to talk about is the game's generally, you know, the backdrops and stuff are pretty. It's just, it's not like it's a nice looking game, but it's just not super next gen looking to the point where I would think the Xbox One would have trouble running it. But, you know. Oh, okay, there we go. So it seems like there was a bit of a stutter there when I butt stomped the igloo. Let's see here. Does that happen again? Seems like it was okay. So yeah, you know, it's weird. It's kind of hard to replicate some of these issues, but they just happen, and it's hard to know why a lot of the time. So yeah, in general, I would say, you know, I would not warn people away from the Xbox One version anymore. Full stop, the best way to play this game is still the PC version. If you have a good enough system to run it, you know, it runs in 60 frames. The graphics are generally better than they are here. That's just the best version to play. But in my review, prior to the patch, I said that I do not recommend Yooka-Laylee on Xbox One because of the performance problems. Well, now I do recommend it on Xbox One. There are still performance problems, yes, and I still think the best way to play the game is PC, but this is far less a technically broken game than it used to be. Well, it's not a technically broken game at all. Before, it was approaching that, but now I would say, you know, this runs well enough, and I would be comfortable recommending this to people, despite the technical issues that are still present. So I hope that's been helpful. Hats off to Playtonic for improving things. Hopefully it continues to be improved, because as you guys have seen, there obviously are ways that it could be improved still. So, you know, the game still has quite a ways to go technically, I think, and I do hope that Playtonic continue to address those concerns, because if they do, you know, I think we could have a nice looking, nice running game on Xbox One, even if the PC version still remains the best. So thank you guys for watching. As always, if you enjoyed this video, please hit that like button, subscribe to our channel, and follow us on our various social media pages. You can find all the links you need in the video description below. Otherwise, keep it on GameXplain for more on Yooka-Laylee and all things gaming. Until next time, guys, bye!